you're from Harrow, could you put your hands up, please? Okay.
Yes, go.
Excellent. Okay. Well, if you're from Harrow, you are obviously the best people in the room this evening. But everybody from the Tamil community in particular, you are welcome here this evening. And it is a terrible occasion that we are marking 30 years ago, the events at Mullivaikkal in particular, and remembering all the lives that were lost in the run-up to Mullivaikkal and have been lost since as a result of the human rights abuses that we know and are all too sadly familiar with in Sri Lanka. But we're also meeting at a time when the island of Sri Lanka, and many of those of you who have family members and friends still in Sri Lanka will know this only too well as well. The economic crisis in Sri Lanka, the repression that the government are once again engaging in to try and stop protests against the government, is a further reminder of the lack of accountability that there is in Sri Lanka, the lack of respect for political pluralism, and the ongoing torrents of human rights abuses. And when you add to that the fact that for 13 years the Sri Lankan government have tried to stall, tried to prevent any form of international accountability for what went on in the conflict. And it is a reminder to us all that we have to keep campaigning. Even though we're not in Sri Lanka, we have to keep campaigning from our country here in the UK and galvanise others from around the world to continue the campaign for human rights in Sri Lanka and for accountability for the war crimes, the genocide, the human rights abuses that took place in that terrible conflict. So I come here tonight with that agenda. You will be pleased to know, those of you who have heard me speak before, that we do have a list of very impressive speakers who are lined up to speak next. But I just wanted to end this introduction, if you like, by just pledging again to those of you who are in particular from Harrow, but to those of you who are linked with Tamils for Labour and are active in the Tamil community, that I, and I believe my party, will not stop asking questions of the current government here in the UK about what they are doing to hold the feet of the Sri Lankan government to the fire over those war crimes, and what they're doing to keep the pressure up on the United Nations and other international mechanisms who can hold and ask their own questions of the Sri Lankan government about those war crimes. So we will continue to ask questions, to challenge, to demand action of our government here in the UK, in the House of Commons and beyond. And we will expect the current government, hopefully soon to be replaced by a much better government, to ask questions of the international community to keep the pressure up for justice and for accountability in Sri Lanka. So enough from me. Nandri, for your generosity in not heckling me, in particular the baby who's in the room.